Good morning, I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning, and so excited to have you with us as always. Yeah. So
Hump day. The week's almost over.
No, it's actually not, because we still got the whole day in front of us.
I know. But you start to get a little excited when you hit to Wednesday, right? It's like, yes. The weekend's right around the corner.
So seems like the longest day of the week is Tuesday.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Why don't we go to 4-day work weeks? I'm just saying. Then everybody could, have an extra day. So you spend whatever that day, maybe it floats for people. I don't know. So you spend that third day off every week doing all of your shopping and doing all your honey-do list, and then you get a weekend.
Ooh.
Right?
Like split like 2 weekends, like a little midweek weekend.
Well, no. So say your day is Tuesday. We'll just say that your day off is Tuesday. That you can run all your errands, have your dentist appointments, and those kinds of things on the Tuesday. And then when Saturday and Sunday roll around, then you have done all of your chores, and now it's time to enjoy your day. Like take a trip, go hiking, go to the beach, do something.
Yes, because I often get done with my weekend and feel like I need a weekend to actually recover. Because I ended up doing so many things that had to be done that had been put off during the weeks. I couldn't get to them. Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying?
I do.
That would be ideal. That would be ideal. But the idea is that you do all your honey-do list on either Saturday or Sunday, and the other day is your relaxing day.
Your fun day.
Your fun day, Sunday fun day. So Cory Booker is trying as hard as he can. Spartacus wants you to pay attention to him.
It's his turn, Aaron. Each of the Democrats is doing this. They're rolling out some wild policy something to get the splash in the media, to get their attention, right? And they're each out-lefting the other. How far left can you go?
So Cory Booker wants to take your guns.
Ooh, take them.
Pop-up ads, I hate them. All right, so yeah, he wants to take your guns. Senator Cory Booker seems to be struggling to get much traction in his 2020 presidential bid. That's because there are 1,500 people running. According to the prediction market website predictit.org, Booker is currently the 8th most likely Democrat to win the presidential nomination. And in one recent Democratic presidential poll, the former Vice President Joe Biden had a massive 32% lead over Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders. Booker barely registered with a mere 3% support. I forgot he was running. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because Spartacus isn't making much traction.
No.
In other words, Booker needs a spark, perhaps a spark to energize the increasingly hard-left Democratic Party activist base. In a CNN appearance on Monday, Booker may have tried to generate that spark by offering a tyrannical and anti-constitutional paean to the vehemently anti-Second Amendment partisans of the Democrat Party base. Mikhail Smits of the Washington Free Beacon tweeted Booker's underlying CNN clip and noted Cory Booker won't say whether he'll jail all Americans who refuse to surrender firearms they lawfully purchased if he's president.
So he refuses to answer the question of whether people would go to jail.
Yes.
Because they didn't turn over their guns.
Yes.
Okay.
See, that'll end well.
Yes.
Can't you see that? The pro-Second Amendment types are going to just hand their guns over to Spartacus because, reasons.
Yes.
So as Smits elaborated, CNN anchor Poppy Harlow pressed Booker on whether he agreed with the proposals of his fellow 2020 presidential candidate, Representative Eric Swalwell, in an anti-gun stalwart who supports a buyback program where Americans who currently have certain types of guns, and if they say semi-automatic, that's pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
Where could sell them back, essentially, to the government. As Harlow noted, Swalwell then proposes that if the gun owners don't turn in their weapons within a certain period of time, they would be prosecuted and thrown in jail. Booker prevaricated, initially resorting to the tangential leftist platitude that the critical thing is, I think most Americans agree that these weapons of war should not be in our streets. Except, I need to refresh your memory. I want to tell you what semi-automatic means. Semi-automatic means that when you pull the trigger, one bullet is leaves the chamber, one bullet, and then the next bullet is automatically then chambered behind it. You still have to pull the trigger for that one bullet to be shot, to be fired. And then another one will automatically chamber. It does not mean, it's not a fully automatic machine gun. Those things have been illegal in the United States for quite a while.
Yes.
Where you would pull the trigger down and it just keeps shooting.
So
those are not legal.
So basically, the only guns that would be legal under this new regime would be like the old style ones where you literally have to pull the bullet out of your pocket and then drop it down the muzzle and use a little ramrod to jam it in there again.
Well, and they would like you to believe that the Second Amendment only covers muskets, but that's not true.
Yeah. So in her questioning, Harlow continued to press Booker, Aaron, and she said, but would you prosecute people, she asked. Do you support the government buying them back? And if not, potentially people could go to jail if they don't want to sell them back, yes or no? And then Booker would not answer the question. And again, we should have a law that bans these weapons. We should have a reasonable period in which people can turn in these weapons, Booker answered. Right now, we have a nation that allows in streets and communities like mine these weapons that should not exist. So he just flat out ignored the question.
Okay. And I love this. They should not exist. Okay, so you're going to wish them away? Because I guarantee, let's just say for the sake of argument, you are able to take them out of law-abiding citizens' hands.
Yes.
That doesn't take them off the streets entirely. There's lots of people who are not law-abiding who will continue to have them. And by the way, we have thousands of miles of porous border with Mexico. We have coasts on either side of our country, plus the Gulf of Mexico where things can come in. We've got thousands of miles of border with Canada. What makes you think you're going to keep guns out of the United States of America?
Yeah.
So you're going to take them all away from the law-abiding citizens, and you're going to just, only the criminals will have them.
It's not going to happen.
That sounds like a great idea, Spartacus.
It's not going to happen.
And there was another shooting at a school yesterday, and I don't want to give it any more. I'm tired of talking about these. I'm tired of, the people who do this. They want the glory. They want to be seen. They want to be. I'm tired of it. We're not going to talk about it anymore. We're not going to give these jerks any airtime.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well,
so this article is from the Daily Wire, in case people want to read it more about it.
So I think part of the reason that Spartacus, I can't think of his real name.
Cory Booker.
Part of the reason Cory Booker has taken on guns is because one of the other African American candidates in this race, Kamala Harris, recently said that she owns a handgun, and so he's looking for ways to distinguish himself. And so this is why he's taking on the gun issue. And I also think he's going after some money from one very particular donor in the Democratic Party.
Would that be Michael Bloomberg?
That would be Michael Bloomberg, who has spent millions of dollars on this issue and has really, really boosted some campaigns. And so I think this is a type of pander to a very specific donor, and also meant to distinguish him from the other African-American candidate in the field.
But isn't not Cory Booker, isn't Michael Bloomberg toying with the idea of running himself?
They're all running, Aaron. They're all running.
They're all of them. But it looks like at least at the moment, Joe Biden is the favorite.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, the larger the field gets, the better the chances are for Biden, because they fracture up all these other different interest groups, and Biden seems to be the only one that has sort of large crossover appeal into different groups. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, it absolutely does. There are people who are running that I forgot they're running, and like I said, Cory Booker, I basically forgot that he was running because he's just not getting any press.
Well, and when they ask him to comment on this guy Swalwell who's running, I'm
who the heck is Swalwell?
I've never heard of Swalwell. He's a congressman from an inky-dinky something somewhere. I don't know, but he's running. He's running.
Golly Moses.
Yeah.
All right. With that, let's take a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We will be right back.
It's time to say see you later, alligator, to embarrassing and troublesome issues with your skin, nails, and hair with all-natural Cayman alligator oil. Cayman oil is locally made, right in Louisiana, where people have been using alligator oil for centuries to treat all kinds of ailments. A drop a day of Cayman oil can help you say, see you later, alligator, to athlete's foot, nail fungus, acne, eczema, rashes, dry skin, cuts, infections, MRSA, scars, burns, sunburns, and even ingrown hair and dandruff. If you or someone you know is tired of suffering with any of these skin, nail, and hair troubles, you need to visit mycayman.com to learn more about 100% natural, non-toxic, hypoallergenic Cayman oil and get a bottle today. Say see you later, alligator, with Cayman alligator oil at mycayman.com. That's mycayman.com. mycayman.com.
I always hear from our clients who hired another firm that they wish they'd hired DNA Financial first. Don't have regrets about your IRS tax case. Just hire the best in the first place.
One owed $150,000 to the IRS and had spent thousands on another firm. We stopped the levies, negotiated a payment plan, and had their penalties forgiven.
And while every case is different, we guarantee that we'll find your perfect resolution and get it done right.
For a free consultation, call us at 866-201-0156. That's 866-201-0156. Then you can say, DNA did right by me.
Ontario Host Lions Club is hoping you'll come out to their 10th annual We Serve golf tournament. Check-in is 11 a.m. on Thursday, June 20th at Sierra Laverne Country Club. Ontario Lions supports 7 local charities and 8 area projects. Dean Munoz is the golf tournament chair. Give him a call at 909-481-1180. That's 909-481-1180. Come on out and golf at Sierra Laverne Country Club on June 20th to support the Ontario Host Lions. 909-481-1180. Now, here's a new concept: digital network advertising, where businesses display your ad inside their building. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, your company is going to thrive with digital network advertising. Choose your marketing sites or jump on the DNA system and advertise with all participants. Your business ad or logo is rotated multiple times an hour inside local businesses where people will discover your company. Digital network advertising. DNA, a novel way to be seen and remembered. Digital network advertising with networks in Redlands and Yucaipa. Call in the 909 area 222-9293 for introductory pricing. That's 909-222-9293 for digital network advertising. One last time, digital network advertising, 909-222-9293.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California. We are KCAA.
This is a story about Billy Joe and Bobby Sue.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So, turns out the Riverside County, they don't want our pets.
They do not. This is a big deal, Erin.
So this has been, for a lot of people in the city of San Bernardino, the animal shelter has been the main issue. That's been their big issue. And you found that the mayor kind of pandered to the people who were supportive of the animal shelter to get elected, right?
Yes, he did.
You know, he was, I'm going to save it, I'm going to save it, I'm going to save it. Then he turned around and tried to outsource it. Well, the county of Riverside has said, we don't want you.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting. The county of Riverside actually listened to the people who showed up at their meeting.
Well, that's just crazy.
Which the San Bernardino City Council hasn't really seemed to be very open to that. And I say City Council, the mayor and the council. Because these people have been saying for some time that, you basically had originally said to us that you would give us an opportunity to put together our own proposal. And these are our animal rights groups and people who do fostering and whatnot. And they were trying to put together a proposal to sort of take over or help run the animal shelter. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, the city says, no, we're going to outsource to Riverside County. And this isn't just a San Bernardino City issue, because the San Bernardino City Shelter serves a whole bunch of other municipalities. That's where they would bring their animals.
Right.
And so I believe that we need a regional discussion about this, right? That this is not just a San Bernardino City issue, but we need to get multiple cities together, form a joint powers authority, and really tackle this issue. But I'm kind of glad that the Riverside County supervisors basically said, not going to do it. Why would they touch this?
Well, and I know that the residents of San Bernardino who are motivated and activated and activist about this issue are happy about it.
Yeah.
The question then becomes, how does the city of San Bernardino renovate their shelter, because it looks like they spent the money on other things.
Yeah, right.
So the shelter it's got some serious structural problems. Do they find a new shelter? Do they renovate this building? What are they going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they've got to come up with a plan to build a new one, and I think that means collaborating with other groups and other agencies, because the city of San Bernardino doesn't have the money to do that and the resources to do that. And in the meantime, I don't know what they do with the current shelter.
So there was a rumor going around that all of the animals were going to be euthanized.
Yeah.
And that was a rumor. It wasn't going to happen.
It was a false rumor. It was a fake news. But it was all over the internet, Aaron.
It was all people freaked out.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that the day that it was supposed to happen actually was the day that the shelter was closed, which is the shelter is closed on Sundays and Mondays. And so a ton of people, I guess, showed up on Monday thinking, I have to get there and save these animals, adopt as many as I can, whatever. And the shelter's closed, and so people are going berserk. The police department runs the shelter in San Bernardino, so they had to have officers down there at the shelter directing people away and saying, no, it's fake news. We're not euthanizing animals, and putting out statements and whatnot. It was crazy. This has been a crazy kind for the city.
So lots of volunteers have been out at the shelter, caring for the animals and nursing them back to health and kind of rehabbing them. But that's a stopgap measure. We need a shelter that will actually not kill the animals. I mean, when I say not kill, you don't want them to come in and get sick and not be able to be adopted out because they're just in such bad shape that they have to be euthanized. You don't want that either. And I know that the shelter had a leaky roof, and there were problems with ventilation, and there were other things going on.
Rats,
and so that's not okay.
Nope.
And the city needs to focus on that. Again, I think somebody said $600,000 were set aside for the rehabbing of the animal shelter, and nobody really knows or will admit to where that money went.
Yeah, I think that that money's been spent. I mean, clearly, if they can't find it, it really wasn't allocated. It wasn't put aside. Maybe it was just a phantom discussion that never actually occurred. I don't know.
Yeah. So you pick the next one.
You want me to pick the next story?
Yes.
Okay, so I actually sent one to you from CNN that's kind of an upbeat story about how a mom was going to skip her own graduation from college to attend her son's graduation because they just happened to be on the same day.
Oh.
Right? That's a total mom thing to do, right?
That is a total mom thing to do.
Well, it turns out that the mom had posted about it on her Facebook page, and someone who worked in the president's office at her son's university saw it, and it touched his heart, and he went to the president of the university on the day of the graduation. It told him what was happening, and the president of the university called the president of the other university, the one that the mom was going to, and said, hey, can we confer a diploma to her? Does she meet the requirements? And they basically worked it out that day. And so when mom showed up for her son's graduation, guess what they did?
Oh.
They put a cap and gown on her, and they said, you're walking too.
Oh.
Is that awesome?
That is awesome.
That
And
is awesome.
This is in Michigan.
Yeah,
So
and it's Sharonda Wilson, right, was looking forward to getting her graduation from Ferris State University in Big Rapids, Michigan. But her son, Stefan, was graduating the same day at Central Michigan University in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. And so she was going to give up getting her diploma. And instead they worked it out. And I just was blown away, right? So, yeah, the fact that these people saw the problem and then did something about it.
on the same day.
On the same day.
And anybody who's worked with universities know that they pretty much move in geologic time.
Right. Right. And so Stefan Wilson was part of a musical group on campus, actually sang during the ceremony, but being able to graduate his mom, he said, made an already monumental day even more memorable. He said, I'd been looking forward to walking across that stage and accepting my degree for a long, long time, Stefan said in a statement. Earning my degree was such a huge milestone in my life, and having my mom with me to celebrate that moment was an unbelievable blessing. I'm so proud of us both.
So Sharonda Wilson earned a bachelor's in science in business administration, and her son Stefan earned a bachelor of arts in music theater.
Yeah.
So good for them.
Yeah, and yesterday we had some kind of downer stories, sad stories, and so I wanted to do like an upbeat one. I saw this and I'm like, oh, it's a positive story. We got to throw a positive one in there and give one to the listeners.
Okay, so I have a Florida man story before we have to take a break.
Am I going to laugh?
You're going to laugh.
Good.
Okay, so let's put these words together. Drunk, lawnmower, suspended license, and squad car. Oh, and Florida man.
Florida man.
Yeah. So if drunk, lawnmower, suspended license, squad car, and Florida man were on your weird crimes bingo card this week, you can collect your prize. The Tampa Bay Times reports that a 68-year-old Gary Anderson was arrested Saturday after a Haines City cop, this is in Florida, of course, a cop attending to a matter at a local store heard a loud noise and headed out to the parking lot to investigate. There, police say the officer found Anderson on a riding lawnmower, complete with trailer. Oh my God, my thing is replaced.
Okay.
Complete with trailer.
The officer's squad car.
Oh,
You want me to read it?
yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My it just
Complete with
Gotta
trailer.
pop up.
The officer's squad car, meanwhile, had been dinged. Police say Anderson was alternating between laughing and acting aggressively at the scene, and he admitted to the cop that he was drunk and that he had smashed into his car. Police say Anderson failed a field sobriety test and was taken down to the station, but he was then brought to a hospital after he claimed that cops poisoned him. A breathalyzer revealed his blood alcohol content level to be 3 times the legal state limit for driving. A blood test also turned up cocaine, though Anderson, who already has 2 DUI convictions under his belt, insists the police somehow spiked his bloodstream.
that he wasn't actually pickled.
No.
I think he was pickled.
Yeah. Cops also found his driver's license has been suspended since March of 1978. So,
Oh my God, that's awesome.
so Anderson Aaron was charged with his 3rd DUI in 10 years.
He's had a suspended license since 1978.
Yeah, this guy's...
That's 41 years.
But see, he thought driving a lawnmower was different, Aaron. It's not really a car.
But you're on the road. That's what they care about is whether you're on the road.
Do you need a license to mow your lawn? I
Not
don't think
on the
so.
back 40, you don't. But he wasn't apparently on the back 40.
And he's 68 years old, and so I'm thinking to myself, some people never grow up. He's like Peter Pan.
Uh-huh. I'm sure his family agrees.
He's the Peter Pan of alcohol and cocaine.
God.
Oh, my God.
All the crazy stories come from Florida.
Yes, they do.
And forgive me for ruining my segment from like pop-up ads. So I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We're going to take a break. We are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA. We will be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292FQ Riverside, and K293CF Moreno Valley.
NBC News Radio. I'm Lisa Carter. At least 1 student is dead and 8 others are injured after 2 students opened fire in a terrifying scene at a school near Denver. It happened Tuesday at STEM School Highlands Ranch. An 18-year-old and a 17-year-old are in custody. Several of the wounded are in critical condition.
The school here is now closed for the rest of the week, just days before what was supposed to be end of the school year celebrations.
NBC News correspondent Gotti Schwartz in Colorado. Police haven't said anything about a possible motive in the shooting. Plan your commutes accordingly. Uber and Lyft drivers across the country are taking part in a one-day strike today. The rideshare workers plan to shut off their apps and strike in at least 7 U.S. cities and a number of international communities. Many of the drivers argue the companies pay drivers low wages while investors get rich off their labor. The House Judiciary Committee will vote on contempt of Congress citations for Attorney General William Barr and the Justice Department this morning. The department has refused to honor a subpoena to give the committee the full, unredacted final report from Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are showing off their new baby. The royal baby made his debut this morning at Windsor Castle. Meghan said their son has the sweetest temperament, and Prince Harry is still beaming.
I mean, parenting is amazing. It's only been, 2.5 days, 3 days? Yeah. But we're just so thrilled to have our own little bundle of joy and to be able to spend some precious times with him as he slowly starts to grow up.
They're off to visit the Queen, still waiting on a name. And dangerous storms are again threatening the south-central U.S. Tornadoes have been reported across Texas near the Panhandle and into Oklahoma. Hail the size of baseballs has been falling in the region as flooding became a concern. Rising waters became dangerous in areas like Houston and also in Kansas yesterday. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
It's time to take a look at our roadways. I'm Erin Brinker. In the Cajon Pass on the 15 southbound approaching the 138, a crash is now along the right shoulder. Slow traffic is backed up from the 395. This has been your traffic report. Drive carefully, everyone. I'm Erin Brinker, and this is KCAA.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Lori. Mostly cloudy for this morning, looking for a high around 71. Looks like some partial clearing in the afternoon, mostly cloudy overnight with a low in the mid-50s. A slight chance of showers on Thursday, a high near 70, and then Thursday night, more showers. I'm Lori, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California. KCAA 102.3 FM, Riverside 106.5 FM, Redlands, and the Legacy 1050 AM, Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. If you look at the Earth from space, you'll see a mysterious white spot on the west side of South America, in Bolivia. It's so big that it looks like a flaw in the satellite photo. But it's actually the world's largest deposit of lithium, which has eroded from the Andes Mountains to form an enormous salt flat. Lithium is a very special element. It's the lightest metal, with an atomic number of 3. Only hydrogen and helium are lighter, and they're gases. It's also highly reactive, because its third electron, circling alone in an outer orbit, is eager to bond with other elements. These two qualities, lightweight and reactivity, make it perfect for rechargeable batteries. In fact, the lithium-ion battery has changed the world. It has allowed portable computers and mobile phones to become increasingly lighter and smaller, fundamentally altering the way we work, communicate, and access information. Continued advances in lithium batteries are expected to make electric cars cheaper and lighter, with the ability to drive longer on a single charge. They may also lead to widespread power grid batteries. These could provide better, more portable storage of electricity to stabilize the output of renewable energies when the wind's not blowing or the sun's not shining. This has made lithium a highly valuable commodity, and it could turn the Bolivian salt flat, once a remote tourist destination, into a powerful economic resource for the world. I'm Scott Tinker, and this is Earth Date.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Like a swan, grace on the water, lips like sugar.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we're on the brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. And I'm so excited to welcome back to the show Dr. Joanne Yanez. She is the Executive Director of the Association of Accredited Naturopathic Medical Colleges and the Chair of the Academic Collaborative for Integrative Health. She also serves on the Integrative Health Policy Consortium Education Committee, weaving a passion for illness prevention into her professional life. Dr. Yanez's career has spanned advocacy, academia, patient care, and public health. As AANMC Executive Director, Dr. Yanez oversees research, advocacy efforts, and the joint academic endeavors of the accredited colleges of naturopathic medicine. Dr. Yanez, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. Hope you guys are well.
We hope you are well too. It's so beautiful outside. It's just, it's the weather where you just want to be outdoors, and it's been very, very rainy, this winter. So the spring is much appreciated.
Yes, agreed. It's really amazing how getting outside can make an impact in your mental health and in your health. And I think that's what we were talking about today, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, everybody has seen or at least heard about Marie Kondo's show about kind of spring cleaning your house and cleaning out closets and that sort of thing. And all of that really does impact your health, doesn't it?
So, it's really funny. Folks will talk about the impact of clutter, all the excess stuff that we accumulate through the course of our lifetimes, and what that does to your mental health. I know personally for me, when my house is not, when it's a disaster, it's harder for me to concentrate. It's harder to think straight, and even though cleaning is not the funnest thing in the world, the most fun thing in the world, there is satisfaction in knowing that your space is organized. And I think that's why so many folks have caught on to, this is just one way of organizing. But I think it's also important to think about the mental clutter. And, as a working mom myself, I think of all of the things that occupy my brain space. And how do you declutter not only your personal space, but how do you declutter your thoughts? And by doing both of those, that definitely can have an impact in your mental health and in your stress levels.
So I've gone through periods of time where I do this, but I've recently started really journaling, and it really does clear the cobwebs out of things that I'm kind of obsessing about, and I don't really like that word, but it kind of describes things that are swirling around my head that I want to get rid of, and I find that when I write them down in a journal, then it clears all of that out. It's like taking a Swiffer to the cobwebs.
It really is. And, I think that journaling, there are so many different tools out there to help you kind of manage those cobwebs. But, journaling is one of them. Social support has been well documented to help people manage their stress. And so talking with a friend, or a counselor if you feel that that's more helpful. But, I think all of those types of ways of having some sort of a release. For me personally, it's lists. And even if I don't necessarily cross off everything on the list, it's just knowing that I have everything down on paper that needs to happen, so it doesn't have to occupy the mental space of, I'm going to forget this, or, I have to remember to do this. Just putting it down. My calendar is my Bible. I've got a calendar that's chock full of everything that I need to do, everywhere I need to be, everything I need to think of, and having that level of organization and finding, I think more importantly, Erin, it's finding the organization that works for you. Some people it's writing down a handwritten list. Some people there are so many web apps now that can help you stay organized. But it's really, if the organizational tool becomes more stress, then ditch it.
Oh, absolutely. One more thing you've got to do is organize.
Yes.
So I remember when I was very early in my career, I took a Stephen Covey class, and they had the Franklin planners. This is before people had the smartphones, and I found it so helpful as a way to kind of think about organizing your day. And I've thought recently that maybe I need to take another one of those courses, because obviously I don't use a Franklin planner anymore, but that maybe there are new ways to organize that would make life easier.
Well, there are, and I think again though, there are so many tools on cell phones. You can set reminders. You can have on my calendar, I have reminders that go off. They get sent to my email box, and I get a little ping on my cell phone, and that's how I remember that Monday is Spirit Shirt Day at my son's school, or all the random things that you have. Bring cans on Friday to school, and in addition to work, all the extra stuff that would normally be like, oh gosh, I've got to remember to to do this or to do that, or this is one extra thing. Again, it's having the organizational tools that work for you. I have found my system and I stick with it, and mayhem ensues when I don't. So,
by the way, when your son hits middle school, you're going to find out about those special days about half an hour before he has to be at school.
Yeah.
Oh, we were supposed to bring 150 cookies. Really?
Fabulous. But anyway, I think the spring cleaning piece really does fit into more of what are the things that clutter your mind, that stress you out. And if having a messy kitchen doesn't stress you out, then don't worry about it. For me, it does. So I think it's really what are the things that are stressing you out that are kind of leading to that, those little the little pins in the pin cushion. Like, what are those little things that ultimately will add up? And if you can clear those out and kind of get those out of the way, then yes, it absolutely can help with mental health and with your overall stress levels. So it's really just knowing yourself and knowing what's important, prioritizing the things that will help you feel better, and and making that a regular part of your life.
So, one of the things that I hate doing is filing. I hate filing. And most of I generally don't like paper. I want everything electronic because then it's really easy for me to file. But
Right.
like physically taking paper and putting in files, I hate that. Is there anything wrong with hiring people to do that for you?
There is absolutely nothing. If you have the means to do so, I had a very smart mentor years ago who basically said, hire out the things you don't like to do. And because you will spend more time thinking about it, obsessing about it, stressing about it, than the $20 you could have paid somebody to have gone and filed your stuff for an hour. So, yeah, I definitely think that, if you have the means, or if you can, find a way without the means, find a way to enlist some help or have somebody there for moral support, that's the filing is one of my things, and so is when I've had to move packing for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I have like this mental block on packing, and it stresses me to no end. And so, what I've found is if I can have music and some friends and make it fun, that it becomes less of that burden. And so I think again, asking for help is something that a lot of us don't always do well. And whether that's paid help or it's a friend or whatever, asking for help and knowing when you need help is very important. And I think that's one of the big messages in all of the mental health. If you look at Psychology Today or you look at any of the National Association of Mental Health and all of that, it's all about knowing yourself. They have self-assessment tools. And knowing when to ask for help, knowing when you need professional help, knowing when you need a friend or a spouse or a partner or a family, and getting the help when you need it. And I think that's the biggest piece. 1 out of 5 Americans, it's estimated, struggles with some sort of mental health issue, and worldwide the numbers are even 1 out of 4. So I think, again, this is not something people, and we've talked about this before, have stigma about asking for help or saying they're sad or saying they're anxious or angry or depressed, and we really should start to take that stigma away from people and make it safe to talk about things that are upsetting to you.
It's I think that when expectations crash into reality, it's a source of tremendous stress. And as you said, if having a messy kitchen doesn't bother you, then don't worry about it. And this idea that we have to have everything has to be perfect and everything has to be just so, and that in itself can cause people significant mental anguish. And give yourself a break. Cut yourself some slack seems to be a really positive message.
Yeah, I think that striving for perfection, and, my husband will say, he'll rat me out right now if he heard me talking about perfection. But, I think that the striving for perfection and that extra pressure that we put on ourselves, undue pressure. I've heard folks talking, my house isn't really ready yet. I don't want to have people over. I'm like, please, I don't care what your house looks like. Like, don't worry if your baseboards aren't up or you haven't finished your kitchen yet. I don't care. And frankly, anybody who will care shouldn't be coming to your house.
Indeed. Indeed. Absolutely. So is there any news on the naturopathic medical college front? Anything going on that you want to let the public know about?
Oh, gosh, there's so much news. So we have 2 states that have recently newly regulated naturopathic doctors. So Idaho and New Mexico are now regulating for naturopathic medicine. So that's huge news. Our residency process has just finished up a cycle, and we have our monthly webinar series. I'm actually getting ready to rehearse with the Naturopathic Medical Student Association president for his upcoming webinar. So we'll hear tips and tricks from a current ND student in a couple weeks with our webinar series. And next month we have a webinar series, a webinar on PTSD in veterans, given by a U.S. veteran who is also an ND. So there's a lot of stuff coming up, and how folks can tune in.
That's wonderful. So how do people get more information about the Association for Accredited Naturopathic Medical Colleges?
AANMC.org, and we're all over the social media sites, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. So find us there.
Joanne Yanez, Dr. Joanne Yanez, it's always a treat to have you on the air with us. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, folks. Have a great one.
Thank you. You too. So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us if you want Viagra at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-357-1583 today to save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-357-1583 to take your call now. Call 800-357-1583. That's 800-357-1583. Again, 800-357-1583.
No matter if the market is up or the market is down, Phil Grandy and his Phil's Gang members prepared for market volatility and making profits.
Cisco in April, we're up 4%. We just got in that in April. Lockheed Martin, we're up now 7%. Facebook, we bought April 9th, we're up 10%. Morgan Stanley, we're up 11%. WLL, we bought April 1st, we're up 19%. And let's take this year, the Spiders, the S&P 500, we are up 16%. Apple, we're up 26%. Railroad, CSX, we're up 17%. And at the end of the day, when the market keeps going up and up and up, and you're in that market, you're never out in time. You ride it all the way back down, especially with your 401ks. Let's change that today. 877-600-GANG, 877-600-GANG. Let's change it today.
Don't wait. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
The Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands is serving up some really cool ice cream at La Micho Acana. Then get your chocolates and other delights from C's Candies. Moms and future moms who visit the mall can cool off and relax while they get treated like royalty at Shiny Nails or Francis Nails and then pampered at Texture Hair. The Tri-City Center is filled with retailers who care about you. Shop at the Tri-City Center in Redlands and see why they call it the Mall with a Heart.
I always hear from our clients who hired another firm that they wish they'd hired DNA Financial first. Don't have regrets about your IRS tax case. Just hire the best in the first place.
One owed $150,000 to the IRS and had spent thousands on another firm. We stopped the levies, negotiated a payment plan, and had their penalties forgiven.
And while every case is different, we guarantee that we'll find your perfect resolution and get it done right.
For a free consultation, call us at 866-201-0156. That's 866-201-0156. Then you can say, DNA did right by me.
This is KCAA.
You change your mind like a
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So the LA Times has a story today. It was actually yesterday afternoon that it came out about how the Apple Store has fallen from grace. And I have to tell you, going to an Apple Store, I would never, ever, ever walk into one without an appointment.
Right.
Because you will be ignored because there are too many people. And the way that they have the tables set up, I don't understand it. It's confusing.
Yeah.
Meaning, it's not like there's a queue. It's just if you're lucky to get the attention of somebody who works there to help you. And, I remember standing I don't remember what I was buying, obviously something for an iPhone, or maybe it was an iPhone, and standing there and saying, okay, can I buy this? I'd like to buy this. And somebody said, oh yeah, somebody will be with you in a minute, because the geniuses, and I have air quotes, you can't see them.
Yes.
Geniuses don't sell. It's the salespeople who sell. So it's like, and they're not really identified differently in their clothing so you don't know who to approach. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's weird, and you don't know who's who, right?
Yes.
I mean, they're all wearing sort of Apple shirts, but you don't know who the genius is versus who the salesperson is, and
there's no real line.
There's no real line. There's no clear directions, and so it's kind of stressful.
It
right?
is. If you walked in with an appointment, then you can walk up to somebody and say, I have an appointment at 3:00. And so then they'd find you, and then somebody would help you, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just walking in because you want to buy something, or, your iPhone just broke, then you could be waiting a very long time or not helped, and it's not clear how that's managed. At least at the DMV, you take a number.
Are you saying that the Apple Store is worse than the DMV?
In some ways, yeah, I am.
Okay.
And so this article in the LA Times would agree. There was a time when this man that they're talking about, Webb Smith, a recent experience at his local Apple Store in the suburbs of Columbus, Ohio, has been an exercise in frustration. There was a time he visited Easton Town Center location to buy a laptop for his 11-year-old daughter, and spent almost 20 minutes getting an employee to accept his credit card. In January, Smith was buying a monitor and kept asking store workers to check him out, but they couldn't because they were Apple, quote, geniuses, unquote, handling tech support, not sales. It took me forever to get to someone to sell me the product, said Smith, who runs 2PM Inc., an e-commerce research and consulting firm. It's becoming harder to buy something, even when the place isn't busy. Buying a product there used to be a revered thing. Now you don't want to bother with the inconvenience. Smith's sentiment is shared by legions of Apple customers who vent on social media, on customer forums, and in conversations with reporters. Only a few years ago, the raves easily outpaced the pans. So, yeah, it's just chaotic in Apple stores.
Yeah, they go on. In interviews, current and former Apple employees blame a combination of factors. They say that the stores have become mostly an exercise in branding and no longer do a good job of serving mission shoppers like Smith. Meanwhile, they say the quality of the staff has slipped during an 18-year expansion that has seen Apple open more than 500 locations and hire 70,000 people. So, when you grow quick like that, it's hard to keep the quality, right? I mean, some of those geniuses might not actually be geniuses, Erin.
They're not?
They may not be geniuses.
They're not geniuses?
They might just be whoever they could get to fill that position.
Yeah.
Who really doesn't know exactly what they're doing yet.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. And that happens in any store,
Yeah.
But most stores, you don't go to a Home Depot to talk to a genius.
Yeah, but when you put the name genius on your person and call the place the
Yes.
Genius Bar.
Not that Home Depot doesn't have genius people. Hang on, I gotta qualify this. Because we were helped this weekend with the wonderful garden staff at the Home Depot that's on Highland in San Bernardino. And they helped us pick the flowers that we needed for this garden, and they were wonderful. So I'm not bagging on Home Depot. They just don't call their staff geniuses. So go ahead.
Yeah, when you put that label, though, on your employees, you are setting a very high standard for yourself. And when people come in and they're repeatedly sort of experiencing non-genius level service,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, I like that they want this open, modern look to their stores. And so there's a few products along the walls, and then there are tables, rows of tables. And this is true in every Apple store I've been in. But those rows of tables take up a tremendous amount of space. And so the Apple stores always feel very crowded. And for those of us who don't really like crowds very much, that's a very stressful thing.
Yeah.
And even when there's not, 1,000 people in the store.
Yeah, it's an unusual store. I have never felt particularly comfortable there. But each time I've gone with my expert shopper, my dad.
Ah, not your son?
Not my son, my dad. And because I went with him when he bought computers for each of the kids, right? That was his graduation gift for them, right?
Yes.
And then he bought me a computer because thank you, Dad, because mine died. And actually, mine got stolen.
That's right, yours got stolen.
And so he, son, let me hook you up. And my dad's so funny because he owns Apple stock, right? And so he's like, I'm investing in me. Okay, Dad, buy me more stuff.
So,
but it's great when you go with someone who gets it and knows the right things to ask. But for someone who's really not the techie, I find the whole thing very intimidating.
Yeah, and why would you want to intimidate your buyers?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't find it intimidating. I find it annoying. I want to get in there and get out. I don't have lots of time to dink around an Apple store. I am not your typical woman in that way. I'm not your typical shopper in that way. I want to get in, get what I want, and get out. And so the idea of having to tackle somebody to find out, to find somebody who can help me. Again, I would never go into an Apple store without an appointment. I just wouldn't. I'll go to Best Buy and buy my stuff there.
Yeah. Well, hey, the other thing that's going on with the Apple stores is that a lot of folks are now holding on to their phones a lot longer because they're
$1,000.
Yeah. And so because they're older, there are a lot of them that need repairs. And this was the issue you had, right? That the battery life on these things is not the best, considering you want to hold on to the phone for years, and so it starts having issues when the batteries get older, and you had to take it in and deal with that, and it was not an easy thing.
And I made an appointment, and once I got in front of someone, they were super friendly, and they were good. I'm not saying that the employees are bad. I think the structure is not conducive to a good customer service experience.
Yeah,
this is a system problem, not an employee problem.
But even with an appointment, we literally had to leave it there, go have lunch, come back. I mean, there was
to change a battery.
And there was multiple sort of questions and iterations of, okay, does it do this? Does it do that? I mean, it wasn't like something we could just walk in and just walk right out with a new battery or whatever.
Right.
It was more complicated than that.
It was more complicated than that, which was annoying. I'm not going to lie, it was annoying. We knew that it was going to take a little bit, so we planned on having lunch in the area. But if I was in a hurry, we couldn't do that. And if I had taken it to Best Buy, which is closer, they would have had to ship it away. And I'm like, to replace a battery, you have to send it somewhere? That doesn't make any sense to me. Just open it up and replace the battery. Come on. So with that, we're at the end of our show for today. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. Have a great day, everyone.